What's up, YouTube? This is Mike from Mass. My channel is Mass Aquariums, and this video is how to look for and buy new fish for your tank. Now, I'm in front of my 30. Most of my videos now have been in front of my 75, but you gotta get the 30 love. Gotta give them some love. This tank is very well established. It's been up for a long time. I have a lot of plants in here. I'm running low light, no CO2. I run root tabs and API leaf zone, but other than that, that's about it. And the plants are kicking it. The fish love it. Everything's doing great. So, this video is how to buy new fish and what to look for. Now, what you want to look for when you go to your local fish store or PetSmart or Petco, which I don't recommend Petco because I've had bad luck with those fish. PetSmart, I do like their tanks. I have had great success with those fish. But you always want to go to your local fish store. You trust them, you know their tanks are good, and there's a few questions you want to ask when you go to your local fish store. Do they use individual filters for their tanks, or do they have one big filter that filters one big sump pump that filters all their tanks? If that's the case, then you want to ask if they quarantine their fish before they put them in the display tanks, because if one fish has ick and they're using a big sump pump for everything, then potentially all the fish have ick. So that's one thing. Another thing, do they use separate nets for all their tanks? A lot of people, you go to their fish store, you ask for, I want this fish, I want that fish, I want this fish. They go, they take their little plastic thing, they hang it on the tank, they take the net, boom, 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 they're scooping out all your fish with the same net, the same plastic little container, and that can cause some big problems in your tank. So, when you're looking for new fish, you want to look for fin rot. Are their fins don't look right? Do they have ick? Easy, white spot, looks like sugar or salt's been sprinkled on themselves. Avoid those tanks completely. I've made big mistakes by thinking that I can cure a fish or a fish that is in a separate tank next to the tank that has some sort of parasite is okay. Wrong. Don't do that. What you want to do is look for the tank that looks clear. All the fish are swimming around nicely. There's no fish swimming erratically, banging themselves against the walls. No dead fish in a tank. If you come up on a tank where you have the fish that you've been wanting for 3 months and it looks fine, but there's 2 dead fish in the tank, skip it. Don't even bother going for it. I know it's tough. You know, a lot of times you're looking for a specific fish, you finally find it, and the tank doesn't look healthy, but you go out on a whim, like I've done before, and you just buy it. Well, you're going to cause a whole lot of problems in your tank. Now, what I like to do is, I go to PetSmart, and I go to my local fish store, which is Oceans of Pets, and I ask them what they've done to their fish, how they quarantine them, do they quarantine them, how long the fish have been there. A good indication is if you ask them and they get their fish in on a Monday, I like to go to the place on Friday. And if the fish are still there and they're still healthy and they look good, that's probably a good indication that you can buy the fish. Now, if the fish come in on a Monday and you go in on a Monday, you're talking about a whole lot of stress that the fish has come to the store, now you're taking it out of the tank, you're putting it in your tank, and that's just going to cause a whole lot of problems. So let's talk about 3 things you want to look for when you buy new fish. Quality of the tank. Is it clear? Is there any dead fish in there? Do the fish look healthy? Are they swimming around normally, not erratic, bumping against the side of the tank? 2, do you trust the pet store or local fish store that you're buying your fish from? Do you trust that they're dosing certain things in the tank? Are they using separate nets? Are they using quarantine tanks? All those kind of things. I know it sounds like a lot, but just ask your local fish store. PetSmart, they're not going to know. they're gonna tell you whatever you want to hear to buy their fish. But local fish stores, they will know exactly what they dose everything with, what they're treating their tanks with if they have any problems, if they have separate filters, if they have one big sump pump that's pumping all their filters. Now the third thing, you want to look for a healthy fish. If you do some research before you buy any fish, which you should do, you should know what they're supposed to look like. If they don't look like that, then don't buy them. But a lot of fish will not break out their colors until they're in a healthy tank. A lot of fish have really pretty colors, they have really bright colors, and when they're in PetSmart or your local fish store, maybe they're a little stressed out, but as long as they look healthy, what you think is healthy, then it's maybe okay to purchase them. Now, I don't have a quarantine tank. You should probably have a quarantine tank. What that means is not putting diseased fish in a healthy fish tank. It means maybe having a 10-gallon tank which has beneficial bacteria that you can buy fish from your local fish store or PetSmart or Petco or wherever you get your fish, and you put them in that tank and leave them there for 14 days. Feed them, take care of them just like you would normally, but if you see any type of fin rot or ick, or the fish is swimming upside down, or it just doesn't look, it looks like shit, then, you know, you don't want to put that fish in your nice, beautiful display tank, which you take care of. I don't have that. I don't have a quarantine tank. I take my chances, but I really, really take a good look at my fish. And I know everybody's excited when they buy fish. They see a fish they really want, that the fish store has, or a really beautiful fish, and you know, they want it then and they want it now. I know every fish tank person wants that. They see the fish, they want it then. So, if that's the route you're going, which is the route I go, I don't have a quarantine tank, you want to take a look at the fish, look at the fins, look at if it's swimming around normal, and if it is, then, you know, go for it, buy it. If you like it, if it looks healthy, especially from your local fish store, where you trust them, you buy a lot of fish, a lot of products from them, they're not going to steer you wrong. Now, when you buy a fish, my most successful fish that live a long time is you want to put them in the tank, in their bag, and you let them sit for about 30 to 40 minutes. I know a lot of people say 10, 15 minutes, but I like to let them sit in the bag. I know there's not a lot of oxygen in there, but my fish tank store is very close to my house. So I let them sit in the tank for 30, 40 minutes and acclimatize to the temp. Then what I do is I take the bag out and I dump about a quarter to a half a cup of water from my established tank in that bag. And I do that every 10 minutes for the next 30 minutes. So I know it's a little excess, but talking about 2 hours, maybe less, to put a fish in a new tank, but it's going to be worth it because the fish is going to be happy, your tank is going to be happy, and the fish is not going to get stressed out. And when the fish gets stressed out, your other fish get stressed out. Any type of thing that's wrong with the fish that is stressing the fish out is going to arise, i.e. ick, fungal, boom, the fish could die. You can go spend $12 on one, male Boesemani and put him in your tank and everything's fine. You rush it, you're excited, and boom, he dies the next day, and then you're out $12. So what I do is I put him in my tank for about 30 to 40 minutes. I slowly put about a half cup to a quarter cup of water every 15 minutes after that, and then I dump my bag out in my bucket. I have a 5-gallon bucket, and I scoop them out with a net and put them in my tank. You never want to put the water from your local fish store or PetSmart or Petco, no matter how much you trust them, in your tank. You're just asking for trouble. And hopefully within a few days or even a few hours, that fish acclimatizes to your tank and you are successful. And that's what I've done. I know some people just throw their fish in their tank and they're also successful. I know some people just acclimatize the fish to the temperature, then they dump the bag in their tank and they're successful. Maybe they don't get any diseases, maybe they lucked out that day. But the best way to do it is to slowly take your time, be patient, and acclimatize your fish to your tank, and do not, whatever you do, put the water from where you bought the fish in your tank. If your tank is established and it's crystal clear and it's beautiful, you do not want to add any problems to your tank. So that's how I put my fish, and that's how I buy new fish in my tank. I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Subscribe. Ask me. I'll respond. If you don't like it, thumbs down. If you like it, thumbs up. And this is Mike from Mass, and I'm out.